What's up, everyone? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the overall market as we had some very important unemployment numbers, not to mention a big reaction to all these earnings. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that right now in the US, we're seeing the US getting involved with the whole situation that's going on in the Middle East. I just want to say it's very, very intense. The situation has gone on for centuries, if not thousands of years, in terms of its history. And I'm not really here to give you guys a history lesson. You could do your own research for that. I just want to say that the situation's tense. It's very, very important. And I really hope that as many innocent lives do not get lost as possible. I just hope for the best for everyone. We want peace, and we don't want to see uh much negative stuff that happens to everyday people. That's kind of like the best way I could say it. It makes me really sad to kind of think about that, but it's something that goes on a daily basis in this world, and all we could do is hope for peace. So the negative situation that's going on in the Middle East is causing downside in the markets, not to mention the unemployment numbers. Non-farm payrolls came out. They were below expectations, which is showing some weakness, at least from that end. And then the unemployment rate is at 4.3%. That's above expectations, which is showing more and more weakness in the labor market. So that's causing the market to have a negative reaction. That's part of why we're dipping. Unemployment numbers are not looking the best. As far as other pieces of news go, I just wanted to mention that we had big earnings. We just had ExxonMobil today, and then we had Amazon and Aapl yesterday. ExxonMobil did relatively well. They actually beat on earnings. We saw some new records as production grew 15% to about 574,000 barrels per day. They beat on EPS with $2.14 and revenue at 93 billion, all above expectations. However, stocks like Aapl are actually down right now. Even Apple's down despite having decent earnings overall. It wasn't really enough to wow investors. And then we also have stocks like Amazon, which are down very hard. It's down 9% because they missed on revenue and also advertising revenue. It's not the best of news from them. So what's happening with the charts? Let's talk about this. SPY is trying to get back above 536, but like I said before, it's still looking very weak. To get back to bullish, you want to see it reclaim at least 540, and then we could try to rebound and favor bulls a little bit more. If we fail to do so, and we end up losing the support, we're going to be looking at 535 as key supports. If that fails, I'll be looking at 533 and then 531. And if 531 fails, we're easily going down into the 520s. So right now, the chart is favoring downwards direction. We're seeing some buyers trying to defend 535. And watch that as a very, very critical level. We'll see if 535 holds. If we lose that, we're going to turn really bearish and this thing will continue to fall. If we manage to hold above it, we'll see an attempt by bulls to try to fight back. SPY is still looking very weak. It's favoring downside in terms of its direction, so give it some time. ES is still on a bit of a downtrend as well. We're going to be looking at resistance at about this 5400 area. If we do break that, look for 5420. And if we end up losing support, we have key support right here at 5380. So if that breaks, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 5340. So we'll just have to give this some time. ES in the 4 hours looking more bearish. It does favor the downside, so just be very careful and very mindful of that. SPX as well. Make sure you look at support around the 5400 area. Look at resistance all the way up here around this 5470 area. So right now, we are seeing some buyers trying to hold us up, but there is still a risk of downside, especially as we have this big gap to fill down to about 5380. So be careful on SPX. There is a risk of some downside. For Nvda is trying to get bought back up. We have to try to reclaim 108 to turn back up. If we fail to do so, we could continue to fall all the way down towards 100. So watch and see if we can try to get back above 108. Otherwise, we're just kind of stuck in this range. But this does favor downside in terms of the direction. So we're going to be watching to see how this goes. Lose 100, we turn bearish. Break past 108, we turn bullish. And we're still kind of stuck in the middle. But we're favoring the downside, in my opinion. For Bitcoin, we're trying to rebound. We're kind of stuck between 65,000 and about the 64,000 area. We have 65,000 as resistance. We'll see if this rejects or not. So just be very careful. For stocks like Tesla's barely holding support around this 212 area. We also have resistance at 215. We need to reclaim 215 to turn back up on Tesla. If we do reclaim 215, we could see some buyers try to push us back up to 219. But if we fail to do so, If we don't hold above 215, Tesla is going to be dipping down to about 210 all over again. And if that fails us, I'll be looking for 205. So you want to be very careful with Tesla. For the QQQ, we have resistance currently around this 455 area, and then we have supports currently at 450. If we failed 450, we'll look for 448 and then 444. If we hold 450, we could try to rebound to about 452.5, but then we could even try to fill this gap up to 457 if we break past the 453 area. So far, we favored the downside. It's barely holding 450, so we'll have to see how it goes. But just be very mindful of that. Apple's barely at 215. If we don't hold it, we'll be looking for a move back down to 212. We also have resistance around this 218 area, so we look a little bit more bearish. So just be very careful. The IWM is still looking a little bit weak. We're trying to see buyers hold it at 210. If we hold 210, we could try to make our way back up to 213. If we don't hold 210, we'll be dipping back down towards the low of the day, if not all the way down to 203. So be careful in the IWM. It all depends on 210. For Coinbase, we're looking a little bit more bearish. We tried to bounce only to start dipping again. We're barely at support right here around this 210 area, so we'll have to see how well that holds up. But there is a risk of some downside. Same thing on Amazon. Amazon has resistance right here around this 169 area, and we have support all the way down here towards 164. So I do favor a little bit more downside if we don't reclaim 168. So be careful. Meta's, excuse me, also dipping to 483. If that fails us, we'll be looking for basically 474. If it does hold that, it could go back up to 490. Microsoft is trying to get bought back up, and it's still down. Look for this gap fill at 414. If we get back above 420, we could try to bounce. If we fail to do so, we could reject. I do see a little pop coming into Microsoft before it tries to reject. Google's looking more bearish on the 4-hour, just favorite downside. So I'm going to be watching to see if we could try to hold 168. If it doesn't, we're going down to 165. So watch for that very carefully. Anyways, that's it for my video. I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Please note that the market is in a very, very critical place. There's a lot of tensions going on around the world, especially in the Middle East. We're expecting a lot of stuff to go down for the next couple of days, so please be very careful. I don't really want to take a stance. I just want to be completely unbiased when I say this, because I know that people will get very political if I do start bringing up too much stuff, and I just don't want to get through that. It's not really my job to talk about that, so I just want to say that if you're interested in learning more, just know that there's a history that goes back for centuries, if not thousands of years. And let me just say that it's very sad. So that's part of why the market's dipping, not to mention some negative data. So the best thing we can do is remain calm, cool, and collected through everything, and just to watch our charts very, very carefully. So watch the levels I called out, guys. I want to thank you all so much for listening. Sorry, I'm uploading this video very close to open because I had some issues, but it's okay now. Everything will be fine. I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. So take care, guys, and peace out.